driving in F1 at only 17 years and being the youngest ever to drive in F1 and score points, even before he was able to get his driver's license back home. That is something truly special. And now 161 race starts, 76 podiums, 34 wins and 2 championships at only 25 years old later, Max Verstappen looks set to break some more records in the coming years. He looked destined for greatness way back in 2015, but he did need some time to become the driver he is today. This year, the Verstappen-Red Bull combination had turned to be the best bet on the grid, winning 14 out of 20 Grand Prix up until now, whilst recording a DNF in 2 of those races. Those are some dominant statistics, and so today we're going to look at Max Verstappen as a driver and answer the question if he is a complete driver. Do you think Verstappen is a complete driver right now? Let us know in the comments below, we'd love to hear your thoughts. The decisive factor in Max Verstappen's record-breaking 14th victory in the 2022 Formula 1 season was something he discussed after his 9th victory this season in Belgium. "It's not only today, I think I'm always good on the tyres," Verstappen said at the Belgian Grand Prix when asked about how well he'd managed his Pirellis in an extended opening stint on softs. Maybe people don't look at it. His victory at the Mexican Grand Prix last weekend required the same delicate handling of the softs that was necessary for that victory at Spa, in order to successfully implement a one-stop strategy. Verstappen's response at Spa certainly had the subtext that his own tyre whispering abilities are underappreciated in comparison to those of Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez. But he was right. The standout traits of Verstappen are his speed and aggression. He is a far better driver than that though. The tyre management is one of the less glamorous aspects of Formula 1 and is occasionally criticised as being unique to modern F1, as if it had never been important in the past. It is an essential ability, and it is no accident that the same drivers, with Verstappen undoubtedly among them, tend to succeed in this discipline. Verstappen has already won races thanks to his tyre management. One popular example is his first victory in Spain in 2016, which came on his Red Bull debut. He drove deftly in Austria in 2018 by lifting slightly into the fast turns to exert a bit less energy into them and avoid the searing problems that befell then teammate Ricciardo and Mercedes Hamilton. He destroyed Ricciardo that same year in Mexico, where he has now won 4 times despite controlling his lap times and tyres after taking the lead at the start. Different case studies have been given this year. If there is one modern F1 requirement, it is that the working range of the Pirellis be brought in carefully, otherwise they'll not last as long as they should. Those who really master this have a beautiful sensitivity. They can typically feel the tyre beneath them and gauge how far they can push without going too far. At the same time, they can regulate it if they accidentally get into some tyre conflict. For example, Verstappen won the United States Grand Prix after losing time in his pit stop and having to work the tyres harder than he would have wanted, running in the foul air of Charles Leclerc's Ferrari and then passing it. Verstappen had to be held back in his pursuit of Hamilton to recover the tyres because, as he admitted, "I damaged my tyres a little bit too much in the beginning of that new tyre set," which he did, after which he paused, caught Hamilton and overtook him to win. Verstappen is more patient than people give him credit for in some situations, thanks to his developing assurance that the car will have enough speed once the tyres are in the right place. This helped in Mexico, where the race is very discipline intensive. Although the soft-medium strategy didn't seem to be significantly on the minds of many, Red Bull was certain it could succeed since it had 2 drivers who could make it work. Verstappen always kept Hamilton's pursuing Mercedes at arm's length, even though he periodically appeared vulnerable. In order to complete that many laps, he remarked, "I never really felt like I was under pressure. I was just managing my tyres to get through that number of laps." Verstappen pushed to increase his advantage to nearly 2 seconds once he had a clear understanding of what the soft tyres could manage. This afforded him a cushion as the tyres began to fail at the conclusion of the stint. But he had accomplished enough for the long run on mediums to be plausible. Verstappen admitted that it was still up in the air, but after a few laps, he felt as though he had to finish the race on the mediums, so he did. Verstappen's success went beyond Mercedes' original predictions, but was consistent with his skill in refraining from degrading the tyre, providing yet another illustration of what Red Bull team owner Christian Horner says Verstappen has been masterful at this season. When you see how he's playing with the tools that he has available to him within the car, He's constantly on top of them, said Horner. You hear the banter between him and his engineer, and he's got a tremendous feel for what the tires need and what they don't need, and it's something he's developed. He's always been strong at it, but I think this year he's been exceptional. Horner certainly is happy with Verstappen's current form, and so is Dr. Helmut Marko. Marko finds it difficult to comprehend how the 2022 Formula 1 season has evolved. We could not have calculated that Max would be in such form. Everything is really coming together for us this year, the Red Bull advisor told OE24 in a conversation. Only Mercedes' 19 triumphs in 2016 are mentioned by him as being unachievable. The latter is not the immediate objective for 2023, because Red Bull is aware that current dominance does not necessarily foretell future success. I hardly think everything may fit together like this for another season, Marko says. Verstappen has not yet realized all of his potential, the advisor warns. When asked if Verstappen's dominance makes Formula 1 boring, Marko responds that Red Bull just can't account for it. Additionally, he emphasizes that Verstappen is putting down exciting races. Do you think the races are still enjoyable as a spectator? Let us know in the comments down below. Even though Red Bull aren't expecting to be as dominant next year as they were this season, they will certainly try to be. They will try to do this by bringing upgrades they initially had suspended due to the breach in budget cap last year and their fear of breaking it again this year. According to Italian Formula 1 at Uno, Red Bull Racing initially planned improvements for the final 3 months of the 2022 Formula 1 season, but ultimately opted to halt them out of concern that they would go over the budget cap. The team reportedly decided not to introduce any changes this year as a result of the subsequent outrage over the 2021 budget cap. After the summer break, there was discussion over a lighter chassis that Red Bull intended to debut at Monza. The team opted to completely abandon the upgrade for this year after it failed to materialize. In addition, the team's advantage in both championships was so significant that major improvements were also not required at all. However, it's most likely that the 2023 Red Bull car will feature the lighter chassis. Aside from the chassis, the RB18 would also have lost out on significant side and floor upgrades. It's obvious that Red Bull is now concentrating on the car for next year, but it's also claimed that the budget ceiling issue contributed to the decision to postpone improvements. The team decided to stop releasing updates entirely after the Singapore Grand Prix, when the controversy erupted, according to the Italian media outlet. Given the extremely limited testing time teams have, the upcoming 2 races of the season, which are also the last races of the season, might really be an excellent opportunity to elevate aerodynamic upgrades for 2023. It's looking like Red Bull will return to the grid in 2023 stronger than ever. Will they be able to produce another dominant season in 2023? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video and enjoy watching F1 content. We'll be uploading content throughout the entire off-season to keep you updated. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.